To you, just obviously welcome you guys onto this the web event, and I guess the essence of like what this is all about is to really capture your story. And like, we had naturopath like Jen Jeffries on last week. We had Carly Donaldson. We've had Eric Hoover, who started the obviously Start Your Life movement that we're all part of. But the big thing I wanted to do with your story is like I love the integrity of you two as humans, and also like the way that you go about having an impact in the world, and also the lifestyle that you live. So are you cool if we unpack that and share that with the world?
Absolutely. Sure. Go for it, mate.
So let's get started. Like, tell us a little bit about your backgrounds. Like I know obviously Lovey, you started, you were working as a landscaper before you got into this whole health conscious world, and Rhia, you were like big on photography, and obviously you're a teacher working with kids who was already pretty health conscious as well. So do you guys just want to share a little bit about what you were doing before you sort of came into this world of like, networked enterprises and network marketing and partnering up with Isogenics and everything that you're doing now?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. So like you touched on there.
And firstly, I just want to say thanks for having us on. Like, it's awesome to connect with you all the way over there in Bali. So yeah, thanks for inviting us on to share a bit more today.
School teacher, landscaper, so she's a bit more technical than me. Straight into it. Typical tradie. So yeah, of course, thanks, mate, like Rhia touched on. And look, I'll share on my behalf, and Rhia can obviously share on hers. But yeah, landscaper for 15 years, mate. So pretty up and down type of guy, to be honest. Certainly wasn't brought up believing there was more to the world than, going to school, getting a trade and working for the rest of your life. So, it was very different to my eyes and my ears when I heard all about this type of platform. But yeah, very sporty growing up, mate. So I was always involved in every sport I could possibly get my hands on to. So, I suppose that and health went hand in hand, but I never really believed I had a massive passion when it came to health, especially doing it as a business or an opportunity. But again, very health conscious, tradie, always like to look after my body. I was probably a bit of an outcast, to be honest, when it came to the trade scene, because I was very positive and health conscious, and didn't get sucked into the politics of your
exports and milkshakes and things like that, and sausage rolls.
That's right, mate. And don't get me wrong, I probably back when I first started, that was a part of my diet. But as time went on, mate, it just changed. And I think through just evolving organically, that's where I started to want more out of life before I'd even met Rhia. So, Rhia entered my world and shifted a lot more of my perspective. But even before that, I'd taken a bit of a direction change, I suppose, because I was sick of hanging out with those guys that just wanted to drink and run amok all the time and didn't have a lot of drive. So, yeah, that's where it started to expand my mind. Rhia can obviously share on her background, and then we can share a little bit more on how I ended up here.
And let's capture that. Let's capture that for a second, Rhia, before we jump onto yourself, because like this, I guess I've laid a brick or two in my time, believe it or not. But it's very easy. Like my family in Adelaide, like as soon as I was in that kind of construction world and the landscaper environment, it was easy to get caught into doing what they were doing. It was like a boys' club, So I was playing footy at the time as a young dude as well, and I still found myself having, meat pies for breakfast and sausage rolls and this type of stuff, and trying to perform and play footy at a higher level at that age. So the thing is, it's like we're not having a go at that. It's just, as you said, you evolved and you adapted, and you met a beautiful lady. It was probably a little bit more health conscious than yourself, who helped you look after yourself. But at the same time, this gives a beautiful perspective for any tradies or any landscapers out there that, one, are looking to have a shift in their own health and well-being, and two, are looking at a way that maybe they can do something on the side that aligns with their health and wellness, that might be able to free their time and free their location to do what I guess we're going to talk about towards the end of this web event about. And I guess that's a really good segue over to you, Rhia. So let's have a chat about your background. So you're obviously very health conscious, you're a teacher, you're very creative in your photography. How did your journey start?
Yeah. Thanks, Roz. Well, I must admit, even Lovey sharing that, didn't feel like the most popular wife when I was sending him with superfood muffins and all sorts of things in his lunchbox when he was heading off to work. And the boys were looking at him going, "What's that? Dairy-free what?" Like,
Yeah.
Thinking back, but when I was at school, Roz, I ended up applying to be a PE teacher because halfway through year 12, was just continually doing what I always thought you had to do, which was, get good grades, get to university, go and chase your career, and get some property, get married, have kids, the whole lot. So it was halfway through year 12 that my careers teacher, I still remember having a conversation with her because I was either going to go that creative way down, like obviously photography sort of route, or more to do with sports, outdoors, people. And that's where I ended up being a PE and health teacher. When I met Lovey, and we moved to Phillip Island, we were eating from the garden. We were eating, organic food where possible. We were growing our own veggies. Like, it was all happening there. But I had always said to myself, I'd give it 10 years. Like, there was like this 10-year point that I knew, I can give teaching 10 years and then just see. And sure enough, it was into the 9th year that I did teaching. And in that time, had reconnected with one of my beautiful friends from uni, and she was running women's retreats over in Bali. And she just said, we're doing this project, you should check it out. And that's kind of the start of it for us. That's what's ended us up here for sure.
That's epic, Rhia. And I guess let's kind of start with the end in mind. So let's fast forward, I guess, to where we are now, and then we'll go back and unpack it a little bit, because for those that don't know you guys really well, at the moment you're talking about, obviously we didn't sell the house, but you kind of got rid of that type of lifestyle, the house, the car, the landscaping truck and the business, and you kind of freed yourself from your location, and you bought a van, and you went, you lived in a van and just lived, moment to moment with each other, and working from your laptop and helping people along the way. And now you've got this really cool little thing where you've gone, well, okay, we've had enough of that little chapter. Let's move this abroad, and let's go have new experiences, experience new cultures, which I think is, deep down, it's a vision that we all have within ourselves. But like you said before, I think we get to that 10-year mark, and then rather than being open to new opportunities, we kind of stay stuck, right? And then we do it for another 10 years, and then the same patterns come up and the same things. And then it almost gets too far. And then we feel like we missed that opportunity, when realistically it's available to all of us at any time. So what's, with, say, this specific opportunity, so obviously with ISA, the nuts and bolts of what they do is they help people integrate intermittent fasting, high vibration plants from around the world, do-it-yourself smoothie bowls, and some spark plugs. That's the simplicity of the product, right? So how many people have you personally impacted, helping them improve their health?
Yeah, so personally, around about 250. We've personally enrolled into Isogenics, and then of course with the business model it expands from there, but around about 250.
That's cool. So as a landscaper and a teacher, you guys have been able to influence 250 people to improve their health. And again, health is an interesting thing, because it's some people see it as a lifestyle. Some people see it as a part of the journey, right? So, so it's a bit of an ebb and a flow, but it's always a step in the right direction. What's the collective impact? Because obviously this is like a networked and a shared economy. What is that little ripple effect that you guys started gone on to influence? How many people have you impacted collectively as a community?
Yeah, so it's up to around about 2,000 now collectively. So, obviously for us, we're stoked with that. Globally, it's up to around about 2,000 people, because we said yes 4 years ago, So, some people have impacted more, some less, but whatever that number is, mate, even if it's one, it means the world to us.
Yeah, and we'll unpack that a little bit later, because I know you've influenced your proximity as well, which is really important, obviously, with Rhia's mum and what you guys are doing with the cure for brain cancer, and how you're connecting that to your next step as well. So we'll touch on that in a little bit of detail as well. But from obviously impacting that, a big thing is I guess, impact for income. What's been just from a point of vulnerability and honesty, obviously it changes week to week and blah, blah, blah. But what's been the highest income week you've had as a result of what you've been doing?
Well, it's interesting to ask that, mate, because Rhia and I kind of looked at each other and went, we actually don't really know. We know that it would be, money-wise, would be between 2,500 to 3,000. But then we also said we've been on 6 5-star all expenses paid trips that are valued between 10 and 20,000. So it's an interesting question, you know, depending on how you look at it. Whatever way you look, mate, we've been very, very blessed, you know, with the money financially or the trips. You know, it's incredible. It still blows us away.
And that was the next question I was going to say, the trips as well. So just obviously as a result of like, this is how I guess giving like conscious enterprises like this are, right? So you've been on like 5 or 6 all expenses paid trips, and this is an example, I guess, like, I don't know, as a teacher or as a landscaper or me working as a physio, like my bosses or the people that I worked with never said, hey, Roz, congratulations. Thanks for like helping, 1,000 people last week with the issues as a physio. We're going to send you on an all expenses paid trip to X, Y, and Z. And we're going to just, it's going to reward you for helping us have a bigger impact in the world. That kind of just doesn't happen. So just give us an example. What are a couple of the trips that you've been on, and what has that meant to you guys as a couple?
Yeah, well, I'll get Rhia to share a bit. What I'd love to share first, mate, just off the back of what you just shared, was I often use this as an example, probably for a bit of a laugh, to be honest, but I worked for a big commercial landscaping company for 5 years as a manager, traveled Victoria, did a lot of work, it was a high pressure job. When I left, I got a $50 Bunnings voucher. So what it means to us, mate, is that we know that we are, I suppose, respected for the work that we do put in. We've gone to Las Vegas, Uluru, Borneo, where else? Nashville, Fiji, New Zealand. And to be honest, mate, it could be somebody's backyard, but it's the people that we get to spend the time with. That's the biggest thing for us, is the community of people I know personally that really stands out for me.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of sausages, Roz, $50 worth. and
that's normally the extended joke, but
and as a teacher, I mean, a box of roses, like you know the drill with that. But look, and super grateful for it all the same. But Lovey definitely, he's what you shared about the people and who we get to actually spend that time with. It wouldn't really matter where in the world that we do get sent. There were definitely a number of trips that came as a huge surprise, because at the end of the day, we were just, just keeping the main thing was, and that's just helping other people. So, when you get rewarded for doing that, then, it's a huge cherry on top of, something that's so phenomenal already.
And I guess, like, just to give this some context to anyone else that's out there, like, thinking about, this is good for them, but it's not good for me. Like, in those 3 to 4 month periods where obviously, like, they reward you for helping people, this is such a beautiful incentive. You only had to help like 10 people a month, or like 30 people, right? Over a 3 or 4 month period to win these all expenses paid trips. And like, I know Rob, you as like a landscaper, like, you'd help 30 people with their backyards. Me as a physio, I'd easily help, 30 people with sore knees and sore backs. It's just applying the same principles and doing what we do naturally, but then just allowing for receptivity and allowing for a conscious enterprise. Like, hey, by the way, guys, congratulations. I'm going to send you on this trip for doing that. And obviously the key thing as well is, like, this is a new skill for a lot of people. Like you said, Rob and Rhia, like, your background as a teacher, yes, you're health conscious. Rob, you're a landscaper and you're health conscious. So applying, these amazing skills as a teacher, a landscaper, a creative photography, artist as well, like, they're still skill sets that you have, and you're kind of doing this on the side and applying those skills and then building from there, which is such a beautiful thing, right? Because like I think I've chatted with you guys about before, this it's like you get to earn as you learn, you know what I mean? And like, every $50 or every bit of residual income you get is kind of a bonus, right? And the more people we can impact individually and collectively, the more income we can make collectively as well.
For sure.
Yeah, you're spot on, mate. And I think the way network marketing as a whole has this, interesting vibe around it. But that somebody said it once upon a time, and we know it as well, mate, that it's literally people helping people. And I think when it's put that way, that's when you can really start to understand and fall in love with what the industry has to offer. Because like you touched on, 20 or 30 people in that period, we want to do that anyway, whether there's a trip at the end of it or not. It just so happens that every now and again the company incentivizes you with doing what we want to do anyway and what our job is at the end of the day. So, all we want to do is impact people and show other people how to do the same thing. And, if you get sent on a trip around the world, you're not going to say no to that, are you?
No. And it's such an important point, guys, because like, I think what you touched on there is like the essence of what makes this different. People ask us like what makes us unique, and it's like the intention. I think like as a worst case scenario, imagine from a health point of view, people just integrated like processes like intermittent fasting and high vibration plants into their world. Like that would kind of be enough, right? And I know you guys have had your own health story, and you could probably list another 1,000 or 2,000. But then it's like when people get the opportunity to influence their proximity, they get the opportunity to like earn an extra couple $100. It might be like $100 a week, $200 a week, $500 a week for doing what they would do naturally, which might pay off like a mortgage repayment. It might pay off the electricity bill for a mum. It might be enough for like, school trip. Or for you guys, it might be enough to free your location and buy a van and travel up the coast and really live life together and share some moments that, when you guys have kids one day, you'll be able to look back and be like, we took a chance, we took an opportunity, and we stepped into living life to the fullest, which I know I saw as like the key sort of tagline on your website for robandrhialove.com. So I just, it's such a beautiful opportunity, guys. And I just wanted to unpack the next part with you, which is, Rob, you ran, a landscaping business. What was the startup cost for that as an example?
Yeah, about 100,000 it cost me, mate.
And what's the running cost for this as a business for you on the side of everything else you do?
$200 a month.
Which has a potential.
On food we ate anyway, mate. We were spending more on health food before Isogenics. So when people say, ever say that it costs more than what they're spending, we were spending way more on health food because it wasn't as cheap as what ISO is. Yeah.
And I guess if you're not health conscious, you're spending more on beers and coffee and processed foods and takeaway and stuff anyway, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is your startup, as from a business standpoint, was about, $100,000, and obviously you didn't free your time. Actually, you had to work harder, and it's nothing against that. I think, I know you still do a bit of landscaping on the side every now and again. The same way I still do a bit of physio on the side. I'm sure Rhia applies her teaching skills to every aspect of her life. But essentially, it's like a $3,000 outlay for the year where you're kind of just investing in your food, you eat your overheads, and then the only other expenses you have to really fork out is maybe some travel or some lifestyle stuff. And if you can go out and impact, 10, 20, 30 people, you can actually win these all expenses paid trips and even earn a secondary source of income, which can pay you, basically an unlimited amount. Like we've had Kylie Donaldson on here talking about how she's had like $20,000 and $50,000 weeks. And you guys are obviously early in your journey. That's a 9-10 year journey for her. But for you guys, you're talking about, $500 a week to $1,000 a week to $3,000 a week. And it's kind of, it's really beautiful when we think about it that way. Hey.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And I think what people underestimate is like, for me, I had to borrow $100,000. I didn't have the spare $100,000, so I borrowed that and I pay interest. And I'm actually effectively working for free and putting myself under more stress, which then obviously snowballs into more health issues, which I had before Isogenics. I was a healthy guy, yet I still had health issues. So the stress and all the additional things that it does put you under. I think is very underestimated, especially with Isogenics. I look at it as a free business because I would be spending the money anyway, if not more. So to me, I actually save money even if I don't make any money with this, this opportunity.
Because you're investing in your health.
I've never said it like that, so write that down so I can use that.
Well, that's the point of this, man, is like to really share the heart and soul of it. And like, let's get back to the crux of it, because 95% of people start because they want to be healthier, right? There's only a small portion of people that are like, oh, I've been looking for this vehicle my entire life, and they go to work with ISA and see it as a business from the start point. So what was like, take us through, we'll start with you, Rhia. What was your like the biggest benefits you saw integrating this, like, you know, the nutritional cleansing system with ISA and their smoothie bowls and stuff into your life? What was the biggest shift that you saw, and even in the proximity of like your husband and you know, family and friends?
Yeah. And I do love sharing this part of the story, Roz, because like we were sharing earlier, a health and PE teacher and already, you know, incredibly healthy, like exercise daily. I was running marathons back then. We were, you know, we were making superfood smoothies every morning. We were just jamming like 15 ingredients into them already. So to be honest, when I think back to what it was going to offer us, there was ego that had to be put aside, because I was literally like, how do you improve on already 10 out of 10 health? So that was for me personally, although we had seen with Lovey, you know, different things that we were having to work through with gut health and with sleep and with energy. And then when I looked at it, if I was to be true with myself, I was still relying on coffee. You know, I was wound up a lot of the time. Mine was more so like an internal hormonal shift and with my energy and with my clarity. And I still remember it raw, as clear as day. It's 4 years ago now, over 4 years ago, but it was 2 days in, and I said to Lovey, I already feel different, but I don't want this to be a placebo. 7 days in, I looked at him and I said, like, because I was very in tune with my body, and I said, there are cells that are working that have not like received the nutrition that they've needed before. I can feel them working. Like actually, I likened it to drugs. I know that's not the best example, but that's what it was like. I was like firing on all cylinders. That was my experience, and then Lovey can share his.
Yeah, so personally for me, mate, I suffered from gut health issues for about 15 years, and even though we were spending a lot of money on really good produce and other health supplements and whatnot, nothing was fixing the issues. I'd had all the tests done under the sun. So, of course, that snowballed, made into bad sleep and lack of energy and, lethargy and all that stuff. I struggled, mate. It was as simple as that, and couldn't get our finger on what the issue was. Put isogenics in our body. 4 days in, I haven't had a gut health issue in over 4 years. So, call that a coincidence. Of course, we never claim that it's the magic trick, but that was the only thing I changed. And I can now eat everything that I couldn't eat. I can do everything that was making me unwell.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And this is the thing, like for anyone listening, like even if you're just a trader who wants to improve your health, or a teacher that just wants to, you know, get through the day with your energy, like, you know, essentially all isogenics is in the program sense is like you integrate intermittent fasting and no compromise, like high vibration plants and foods from pretty much the best sources globally, right? And it's just simple enough that it arrives at your doorstep. You do the whole food eating. You still drink water. You can enjoy a bit of healthy moderation and choose your lifestyle. And it just allows you for the consistency. And like you said, Rhia, someone says it really well, but it's like food is a fuel that is like, it's sort of like the lock and key mechanisms to your cells, which like unlocks our genetic potential, like our epigenetics and how our body expresses itself on such a massive level. So when we think about food and fuel as lock and key mechanism for human potential, all we're doing is, within the context of any environment, trying to find the best sources. And ISO is just someone that we can trust because the ingredients are no compromise, right? What would you recommend for anyone who is listening and would like to just get started purely for the health? What would you say to them?
Get as many as the products as you can in your first month. Honestly, mate, it's look, what I say to people, mate, is you get a once-off 30-day money-back guarantee, right? So you've asked the question. This certainly isn't a sales pitch. I don't even know who's going to see this, but I always recommend, I say, you have 30 days risk-free, buy as much of it as you can, get a premium, get an ultimate, trial the lot.
Just do a full reset.
So integral, they'll even let you send back single products. So at least get the biggest amount of product in your body to give it its best opportunity. Then if there's a single product you don't enjoy, get your money back. It's as simple as that. Personally, mate, I didn't believe it was going to work, so I was just going to send it back. It was simple. I was doing it. Probably won't work. Nothing else has. I may as well get the biggest pack because it's a risk-free month. Put it in. So glad that I got the biggest pack I could at the time. People prioritise money everywhere else and then say they don't have it for their health. But trust us, when you put the whole system in your body, it works. It's as simple as that.
And it's like, I guess this is the thing, when you go back to the way it was created in the beginning, John Anderson, who formulated, 2,100 products for all the stuff we know that we see in the pharmacies, plus, a full scientific team. I think it's like with some of the best like gut specialists in the world, like I think it's like 200, 300, 400 years of like clinical experience, like in that little like cohort brain that is behind this program. And it's like they designed this as a system. Our body naturally detoxifies. We nutrient saturate. We manage our behaviors. We're doing no harm. And, we try to like do our best on a daily basis. But this kind of covers all the bases because you fast, you nutrient saturate, you just kind of repeat. You get on with your life. Your body wakes up and naturally does what it does. How we feed ourselves tomorrow is basically, or how we wake up tomorrow is a result of how we were feeding ourselves 12 months ago. So if we want to be better in 12 months' time, it's the 30-day reset into 90 days of maintenance, and then just that consistency of that 12 months to really see our body physiologically change, right?
Yeah, that's spot on. Yeah, because other than that initial reset where you literally are just flooding your body with nutrients, it is having that understanding that it's still not a quick fix. You do want that sustainable change like you're speaking about. So
and also, mate, we'll never go a day without it, ever. And, and again, I use an analogy that I think I made up. It was like, people say you're going to do that for the rest of your life. And I say, well, if you found a gold mine where every day you're allowed to walk in there and take a piece of gold, would you stop visiting the gold mine? And the answer to that, of course, would be no. So that's the way I look at the shakes and the cleanse. It's like we've got gold that every day we get. Yeah, that's right, that we get to use. So for us, mate, it's the rest of our life. It's simple.
And that's it. And like even right now, like you're building your temple for when you're 50 and 60 and 70, right? So it makes sense to source the best building blocks. And obviously, the lifestyle component is massive. Obviously, there's a lot of stress that's been taken off you guys as well, having the opportunity to jump in a van and do what you've done. And obviously now to look at the next big adventure, which is Bali life. So let's have a chat about the lifestyle. What's the big vision for you guys now? Where are you heading in the next 6 months? What do you see?
Yeah, thanks, Ross. Well, look, and this is the thing. Lovey's just doing a quick little. We've got we're just switching up calls here, but Lovey's sorting that out right as we speak. So basically, what happened was from the start. As you referred to about living each day to the fullest, that perspective came about. Those of you who haven't perhaps heard our story, like our full story before, back at the start, even though we've talked about the health benefits, there was certainly the renewed vision for a better lifestyle for us together. We hadn't, like Lovey shared as a landscaper, and I hadn't as a teacher, seen something that did have the possibility not to forever trade your time for money. So that was, that was an eye-opener for us. And when we were asked the question, if time and money were no barrier, what would you be doing every day? And for me at the time, it was, funnily enough now, to chase coastlines, taking photos with my husband every day. And that's exactly what we're doing. And then, of course, we've been up the east coast of Australia. That was inspired by living on my beautiful mum's legacy and vision. We lost my mum 3 years ago to brain cancer, which was around 8 months. She was diagnosed into this journey. And again, forever grateful that we said yes, because we'd said yes, that additional income online allowed Lovey to walk into my school and actually resign me at that point. And I was able to spend those 4 months with my mum. And yeah, then it got us to that point where that perspective shifted. And, you know, we did look at each day differently and wanted to live each day to the fullest. So that's what we've been doing. And yeah, you said it's been longer than we sort of say, oh yeah, it's been 18 months, 19 months. And now Lovey's like, it's actually been like 21, 22.
Yeah, we lose track of time.
But it's been a long time. We didn't know, but you know, we've spent every day together and we're doing what lights us up. And it was actually over Easter that we felt called to head to Bali, again, being around other high vibing, driven entrepreneurs. So that's where that shift happened, but not without allowing this legacy and this story to continue on, which was an idea of Lovey's. He's typically the entrepreneurial visionary when it comes to our partnership. So yeah, you might like to share how that came about.
Lucky I've got her to implement it because I come up with the ideas and Rhia normally pull. Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah, so look, basically, like Rhia touched on, the van was a legacy to sell Rhea's mum, and rather than just selling the van and getting our 30K that the van would be worth, I sort of come up with the idea of how can we continue the legacy, give back at the same time, and everybody be able to take a piece of our trip with them. And that's where we obviously came up with the idea of selling some prints of some photos that we've done during the trip. And everybody who purchases one of our prints goes then in the draw to win the van. So, you know, we thought everybody wins because they get a print, rather than it being a raffle where you just buy a ticket and you just pray that you win the prize at the end. Everybody gets a prize effectively. One lucky winner can take the van, but we can also donate 10% of what we make to cure brain cancer. And, you know, a little bit on that, there's not much funding because it's not a glamorous disease. Nearly 100% of people die from brain cancer. So, you know, that's a real passion of ours, is to be able to donate 10% now and way more down the track. Like, our whole goal is financially to make as much money as we can to give it all away to brain cancer, because we've seen how devastating it is, not just for the person with it, but for the people around them as well, because it just costs people an arm and a leg. So, yeah, mate, we're excited for somebody to take our van and continue Sally's journey and, you know, be blessed with what we've been blessed with over the last couple of years.
That's amazing, man. And I know you guys have, you've surpassed your first, you know, I guess 100 tickets, and people are going to be having your prints, Rob and Rhia. I think this is Rhea's genius, but obviously with your support, Lovey, in their home. And I think those prints have so much more meaning when they understand the story and the journey behind it, because I'm sure a lot of people can relate to losing someone out there to some sort of chronic preventable disease. You know, it's affecting one in 2 people right now, and 7 in 10 people are going to leave this world because of something that is seemingly preventable. And I guess this is where, you know, if anyone wants to get around this and also, you know, have the opportunity to live van life on their own terms. It's like, I bought a ticket for $50. I was stoked to get the print, you know, and just to feed into that legacy and to see, you know, 10% go back to brain cancer and things like that is just, it's kind of a bonus, right? But, you know, we've got there's probably another 500 or 600 tickets available. So if anyone's out there and they want to grab one, what's the easiest way for anyone out there to jump on board with your journey, or even work alongside you? What would be the easiest way for them to get in contact?
Yeah, thanks, Roz. That's awesome. And yeah, we're stoked that you can have one of the prints as well. Yeah, we definitely chose 10 of the prints that have been really significant for us along that East Coast journey. But the easiest way, Roz, is Rob and Rhia Love. So it's either robandrhialove.com for the prints, Rob and Rhia Love Instagram, or robandrhialove@gmail.com if you want to contact us directly. And all of those interrelate. So if you land on the Instagram, you'll see our website and our email there. If you land on the website, vice versa. and then you've got the Gmail as well. So yeah,
Look at you guys have learned.
Okay.
Look at you guys have learned. You're tech savvy. You're just adapting with the times, and a teacher and a landscaper have got this nomadic lifestyle. They're creating win-win scenarios, not only in their health conscious business, but with the van that they've been using. And I guess you're trading that in for a scooter and maybe a little pad somewhere in Indonesia. So that's all exciting stuff, eh?
Yeah, absolutely, so mate. Cool. Can't wait.
Well, guys, we're going to wrap up there. I know you got to give your time and energy to another beautiful community. So big love to you both. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Hopefully this inspires someone else out there to, plug into this community, either just for the health or even for the opportunity to see what you guys have seen. And just to let you know, I got goosebumps again hearing, Lovey, how you, and I know this from a personal standpoint, how true the story is, but when Rhia's mum was going through that and you were able to go in there and be able to free her time so that she could spend some quality time, which is, I guess, our most valuable resource with her mum before she passed away, it's kind of what this is all about. I think we're all searching for ways to have more time and obviously to maintain our health and to be able to contribute and give more, which is the Start Your Life vision and the bigger community that we've talked about in the past. But I just want to really thank you both for, sharing the essence of what this is, because obviously in a network space, anyone can represent this company and represent, the products and things like that. But you guys really represent the essence of what this is really about. So hopefully we can get this in front of the world and inspire people to do this with us, part-time or full-time or even just for their own personal health journey. So thanks again. Big love.
Thanks, mate. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Enjoy.
See you, brother.
Catch you, man.